All right, so here we are in Anarchapulco with the one and only Mike Maloney. Mike, thank you so much for doing this interview. It really means a lot to me.
Thank you very much for having me.
I know that you're giving a talk. Would you mind giving us a brief explanation of what you're going to be talking about here?
It's the power of distributed ledger technology. Um, the title that they've given it is something like All About Crypto or something like that. The title was supposed to be Freedom or Enslavement, the Crypto Revolution, because we are, people have no idea how much distributed ledgers are going to be touching our lives. When they think that cryptocurrencies are basically the extent of distributed ledger technology. Distributed ledger is like blockchain. There's a new technology called hash graph now. And these are going to be running most of the stuff on the internet in the future. This is going to be very, very big. And the problem is that right now there's a whole bunch of infighting going on between this coin and that coin, and you've got to support this thing, and you've got to be against this one. And what I see is that we all need to be for open source distributed ledger technology, and we have to be very cautious and wary of government developed distributed ledgers.
That's a good point, yeah. So what do you think this means for the future? Like, what do you how is it going to play out in the average person's life?
Well, how it's going to play out, that's the decision point that we're at right now. This is a choice between freedom and enslavement. And the thing about, Satoshi Nakamoto gave us a great gift in 2008 when he developed Bitcoin, because this was the world's first full consensus distributed ledger, where you have these millions of computers all over the planet that all agree at the same time. They all know the same thing that every other one knows. And they all agree. That's never happened before. This is going to be something that touches just about every aspect of our life, because it's more than cryptocurrencies. With the interviews that I was just doing with the developers of Hashgraph, they're talking about there's already been a video game developed on it. So here you've got a video game that's not operating inside of a server. It's operating off of the shared computing power of cell phones and tablets and our own computers. So it's not centralized. And it is recording all of the movements and recording who picked up a gun first or whatever in a video game, and recording who got shot and all that kind of stuff. I'm not much on video games, especially violent ones, but this is going to impact the way we have email, this sites we visit. And right now, supporting the open source platforms that are free market is very, very important. But what my fear is that we're going to more and more accept government-made ledgers that, like blockchain technology used for a crypto dollar, US dollar. At that point, they can manipulate us even, they can control us even more. The powers that be, the authorities, have more and more control over us, because if they don't like you, they can just switch you off as a person. They can freeze you out of the monetary system, and they'll be able. Blockchains record every action. They'll be able to trace where you've been, what you're doing, and decide what you can buy, what you can't buy, where you can go, where you can't go. And so right now, this is sort of a fight for freedom and liberty versus tyranny.
Wow. So do you think that at the same time the people can use it to our own advantage and basically over time make government obsolete and or at least make them accountable to what we are paying them to do?
Well, that's my hope, is that if enough people start supporting this. But one of the things that it requires right now, Bitcoin is a speculation, for instance, and so are all the other cryptocurrencies. Nobody's actually using them in transactions. Nobody is filling their tank with them or going to dinner with them. My company, goldsilver.com, will take Bitcoin and ship you gold or silver. we need more transactions to be happening. Once it's started, once it is adopted so that it's used in trade, then it has the potential to free us. If the first cryptocurrencies that are widely used in trade happen to be the crypto dollar, the U.S. Federal Reserve crypto dollar, then we're in trouble. That's enslavement, not freedom.
I want to switch to silver real quick because I've been along ever since I read your book. I've been holding my silver.
Yeah.
And do you have any idea when the manipulation will end and the price can be free?
Well, the explosion in gold and silver should come in the second half of whatever the next crisis is. There's a crisis lurking out there waiting for us. All of the manipulation that Ben Bernanke did and Janet Yellen did to try to fix the global financial crisis of 2008, all of that just stores energy that's going to be released. And we are now in the second longest economic expansion in U.S. history. There have been 47 recessions and expansions. So with every month, the odds of something happening, of this economic expansion coming to an end, because there's always been recessions. There's going to be another recession. And all economies today are interlinked, much more so than in 2008. You know, it used to be that when one country would have a crash, it wasn't a contagion that would spread to all other countries. And 2008 showed how interlinked they were then, and it's much more so today. So it doesn't matter whether the trigger happens here in the United States or whether it's in China or the Australian real estate bubble popping or something like that. One day something will happen. You know, today nothing happened. Great. And we might go on for another 100 days or another 300 days like that. But one day something will happen. And when it does, it'll sweep around the world. The markets will crash. The manipulation that they did was magnitudes more than the manipulation Greenspan did to try and prop up the stock markets after the tech bubble popped. That was minor. He accidentally created a massive real estate bubble that he didn't even see that caused the financial crisis of 2008. Well, what Ben Bernanke and Janet Yellen have done are magnitudes greater than what Greenspan did as far as the manipulation. So I believe that the stored economic energy, I call it, that's going to be released is going to be far greater. So, and this really is just a continuation of the crisis that happened in 2008.
That's true.
And so I think you're going to see silver and gold. Gold will explode first, and then silver will follow along. And I think that cryptos will also probably do well. I have no idea. But I don't give advice. I just tell people what I do. My largest position is gold and silver, and I also own some cryptos because all of them are assets that are nobody else's liability, and they're the only ones. I mean, until I fully understood Bitcoin, you know, before that, it was just gold and silver. But then, and you know, gold and silver have been called honest money for years, you know, hundreds and hundreds of years. And it's because it doesn't require on the performance of a counterparty. The Federal Reserve note, a note is an IOU basically. It's a debt instrument. The Federal Reserve note requires the performance of the U.S. government to tax us in the future to make good on on the currency that's in circulation. We only enjoy having currency in circulation today because we're going to pay interest on it tomorrow. You have to watch episode 4 of Hidden Secrets of Money to get that. But gold and silver don't require the performance of a counterparty. Neither does cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. And so I added cryptocurrencies to this short list of, you know, they haven't proven to be money yet, but they might be. And if they become money, a store of value over long periods of time, they will be the other honest money: gold, silver, cryptos.
That's awesome. All right, guys. So thank you so much, Mike, and definitely check out his Hidden Secrets of Money series. It's really good. And thanks again.
Episode 8 is about cryptocurrencies. So if you don't quite understand how they work, this shows you what blockchain is, shows you this new technology called Hashgraph. There's great hope for mankind, but there's also a great threat right now. Episode 4 will teach you how the global monetary system works and how currency is created. So thank you very much.
I think that's the best video on crypto I've seen yet. So
okay.
thank you for
Thanks.
everything.
Okay.
All right.